Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another daily Marvel Snap live stream. So today we are fresh off the start of the brand new season. As you can tell, I did drop a couple of ranks. I started the season at rank 70. I did a lot of experimenting last night. The aggro list performed fairly well. The Cerebro 5 list, however, did not do as well for me. Today we are going to be running a little bit of Aggro Ronin. We might change it up by the end of the stream, but I at least want to start off with the Aggro Ronin list. And then Astros, thank you for being here early. Alexander, thank you as well. I hope that you guys are having a great start to your day so far. And then Ardraf, hey, how's it going? And then actually, while we're loading into this first game, I'm really bad about liking my own stream. And I know that the likes are really important. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know that the likes are really important, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the stream a like as well. So I loaded it up from my end because I'm really bad about forgetting. And so then we're gonna shift over to this game. And then Gratifying Genes. What do you think about Kingpin with Miles and Spider-Man? I think with the way that Kingpin works, most of the move components would come on turn 6, and so you wouldn't get to use as much. You wouldn't get as much functionality or usage out of Miles. I would like the two to interact together pretty well. Same thing with Spider-Man. Typically, we want to drop Spider-Man on 5 to block the opponent from dropping anything on 6. And so it's very similar. I would like the two to interact a little bit better, but I don't think they mesh very well. And then Umais, hey, how's it going? I hope you're. Are you going to the Comic-Con in New York? I'm not. I think it'd be really cool. But it's just not something that I'm able to do right now anyways. Maybe at some point, or maybe one of the other cons, but I'm not able to go to this one. And then Alexander, yep, I had -3 ranks from the start of the season. The start of the season is always really interesting because you start seeing a lot more like really structured like decks that are actually trying. Once you get towards the end of the season, it's a lot less structured and a lot more kind of fun decks that people are trying out. And so I feel like the start of the seasons, everyone's really conservative with their cubes, and so then it gets pretty. I feel like it's a little bit harder to climb right off the bat. So let's go ahead and play Jessica Jones into Hellfire Club, and then Mighty Max. Nice being here for a few minutes during the work break. Hey, I'm glad that you were able to make it for a little bit. And then Q, need a live ping in the Discord. So I dropped it in the general chat. I think Jeremiah or Soul Knife should pick it up from there. But I was running really behind. I was running really far behind, and so I wasn't able to do or pick it up as much or quite as much. And then Pan, how's it going? I love the streams. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're enjoying them. And I like doing the streams. It's a little bit different kind of content than the structured videos, because it's a lot more like real-time feedback, and I can interact with you guys. Comment sections are great, but it does feel a little bit different, at least in overall context. And then Brady, hey, how's it going? This is my first time catching you live. I'm so glad that you were able to jump in and join us. Hopefully we can gain some cubes for you today. If not, that's okay. It's always a positive stream, regardless of the outcome. But ideally, we would be able to gain a few cubes for you. And then Haki, how's it going? Thank you for jumping in and joining us. Then Dad, all of these cards. I have all of these cards for this deck. So the aggro deck list is pretty consistent. There are some deck lists or some high rolls that you're going to have to retreat against. But overall, aggro is going to be the most consistent, because at that point, it doesn't matter what order you draw your cards in. And so if I'm ever in doubt, I always revert back to aggro for a little bit. I bet they extend the game here, right? Or maybe they steal our Ronin. They might steal our Ronin as well. And if they steal our Ronin, then we get it down to 2. Do we think they use Rogue to steal Ronin, or do we think that they extend the game with Magic? I think that's the decision or the potential play line that we're looking at. Clarice will be sad if he leaves. Yeah, she'll be really sad. Anyone else seeing the glitchy screen? Let me see. I saw it on the preview. Oh yeah, yeah. I see the glitchy screen too. That's actually on the BlueStacks itself. And so they may have extended the game here. This may have been this may have been a misplay. If so, this may be a retreat. Oh yeah, they extended the game. Instead of using magic, they extended the game. But since they extended the game, Maximus was definitely not our play. Maximus was going to put them at having pretty much all of their resources, all of their inverted resources. Either way, I think this one is a hard loss. This one should be a retreat. Let me catch up on chat really fast. Mick Mall, hey dude, really liked your decks as of late. Been using them a lot and having a load of fun. Hey, I'm so glad that they're even if they're not working well for you. I don't know particularly from your message if they are. But I'm glad that you're having fun with them. That's the main thing. Some of the deck builds we make aren't necessarily hyper competitive. They're more so for the fun of building them and being able to play them. Gratifying genes. I like dropping Spider-Man on 5 in the Kingpin lane. Yeah, so they have to place it somewhere else. Then I run Nightcrawler. Okay, the Nightcrawler could be the extra move components that you can drop him on 6 along with like an arrow. I could see that being a decent combo. I think it's still pretty hard to pull off, but whenever you do, I think it worked really, really well. Francis, hey, how's it going? What's your opinion on Miles? I feel like we're still experimenting and trying to find his spot. I'm actually, now that I thought about it, I'm going to retreat out of this one. With a negative serotonin, it's going to be really hard to overcome it, especially after the turn extension. And so we're going to retreat out of that one. We're going to rinse and repeat, just jump into a more advantageous one while we catch up on chat. Ardref, why no Baron Mordo? It's also good for disrupting your enemy plus cards for Ronin. So typically I don't like dropping Baron too early because you always run the chance of allowing them to draw into one of their ideal 6 cost cards anyways. And then it thins their deck a little bit. So it gives them a lot of information. So if I was to run Baron in this one, it would be on turn, I would drop him most likely on turn 6. But for me, for that spot, Miles feels just a little bit better. At least in this context or in this scenario. And so I used to run Baron in this one, but I ended up dropping him because there's just sometimes that you allow them to just draw an extra card, and maybe it's a rock, and then now they have a better chance of drawing their other key combo pieces. Nicole, excited for global release, so I can finally pull the season pass cards. So they actually posted a way where you can purchase it directly, even if you don't have access to the App Store. It's somewhere in the Marvel Snap, the official Marvel Snap Discord. There is a way that you can submit a purchase. I think it's on their website with your username attached, and get the credits. I would definitely look on the official source, but I know that a few people in my Discord was able to figure out and do it that way. So bar with no name is a little bit difficult. We don't have any way to change locations. So we need to push the Onslaught, Citadel, and the Gia. But we don't want to push the Gia too early. We don't want to force too many rocks into our hand. And then Chauncey, man, that Maximus variant is so cool. Yeah, I'm so happy that we pulled it. I still have the footage from the 75 collector's reserves that we pulled. I just don't know. I don't know exactly how I want to edit it yet, so I may still do that. It may just end up being like an end of the live stream thing that we had. But yeah, I really like the Maximus variant. I dropped down to rank 10. That's okay, Umais. We have plenty. This is an extended season. We have plenty of time to climb. And then once global release hits, I'm sure that's going to shake things up enough that that's going to be. We're going to be able to climb out of the kind of chaos. And then Compower, hello there, don't shave anymore. Every once in a while, I do have to shave a little bit. I do like to let it get a little bit long, though. Anyone else seeing the glitchy screen? So I think that's gone now, I hope. And then we're gonna jump ahead. If I missed your message, we got a little bit far behind. If I missed your message, just go ahead and post it again. We're gonna go ahead and do Ronin. We don't have to worry about Rogue anymore. We can do Ronin. That's going to get the double effect from the Onslaught Citadel. We can do Maximus, or we can do Mystique and then Maximus on the last turn. And that should give us enough power. Vin Kelsier, hey, how's it going? Thank you for jumping in and joining us. Ice Knight. Yeah, Alex sent it to me again yesterday. Alex sent. I may have. Oh, the way that you're able to purchase the season pass outside of being able to have access to the Snap, the Play Store. Is that what you're talking about, Ice Knight? Whippersnapper, hey TLSG, glad I made it during my 15-minute break. Hey, I'm so glad that you were able to jump in and join us as well. Hopefully we gain a few cubes and we play a little bit. So far we've been catching up on chat. It's been a really chatty day so far. Hopefully we can gain some cubes in the process and keep up with chat at the same time. We may start really positive or really negative here. So we have Q. Regardless of the outcome, we are going to max snap it. Q is a stream enjoyer, stream watcher, and he has his own emoji. It's turned into it's evolved into this like this kind of rivalry, and so we are going to max snap regardless of whether we have the advantage or not. And so the good thing with an aggro list is that we don't have to rely on card draw. We always have a fairly decent like power push. And so if he gets a bad draw, then we have an advantage just from the fact that we have an aggro list. That rogue was pretty sweet. They locked John into rogue. Jeremiah, I expect that since it's a 5-week season, there will be a lot of fatigue from high-level players. Yeah, so if you can't grind now, in a couple of weeks, yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a lot easier towards the end of the season. The Iron Man also looks really cool. Yeah, we pulled that one as well. And then, Haim, did you get a haircut recently? I didn't. I don't know. I think it's probably the beard that makes it look a little bit different. Then Gabriel, I hate Bar with No Name. I hate the peak, but I love it when they come together. And I have Hobgoblin on hand. That one specific time. Drinking coffee. Yeah, I have I have caffeine today. We stayed up a little bit extra late yesterday, trying to build a good cohesive list with Miles. This one feels kind of middle of the ground, but I also experimented with several other lists to try and bring something to you guys as well. And so I do have caffeine today. I don't think I would survive without it. TLSG is Goku. Q is Vegeta. The rivalry energy. That's the level that we aspire to be. And maybe I'm Vegeta, and maybe I come to the light side. Maybe Q comes over to our side. I don't know. Yeah, Q wins fairly often. He can't be Vegeta. That's not it. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Kappa. He does win quite a bit. And I don't lose enough to be Krillin, and so I don't know exactly where we fall. But yeah, you're right. Vegeta feels like he really never wins. They have a Spider-Man. They can actually lock us out of that location for the rest of the game. But we do have Thor there that will be able to grow over time, so that's at least decent. And we know Q has some really crazy plays lined up. I think we go ahead and do a Ronin into Necrotia. Next turn we'll do Mystique and Maximus. I bet we don't get to play anything in Cloning Vats. I bet he plays another Spider-Man, but that's okay. It's a low power tempo overall. You're Yamcha. Oh no, I'm Yamcha? Yamcha's Yamcha gets beat pretty often. Has Yamcha ever won a match? And then I was always intrigued by him and Tien with the I think it's the Tri-Beam or the I-Beam cannon. I was always intrigued with those two whenever I was little. The only comparison I have is Light Yagami and L as a detective. Alexander, which show is that from? I may not be familiar with that one. Then Joe, what does Miles Morales do exactly? So if a card moved last turn, Miles will cost 1. So even if your opponent runs a movement card, then we're able to drop him for a discounted price. And so incoming Arnim Zola. I think we beat them even with the Arnim Zola, right? Oh, well. Yeah, our Ronin would be bigger than their Devil Dino regardless, right? So let's do the Mystique and the Maximus. Let's do the Mystique on the left, Maximus and Cloning Vats. I think even with an Arnim Zola, I think we're fine. Even with an Enchantress, we end up being fine. The good thing about Ronin versus a Devil Dino is that now that they're the same cost, they're in the same bracket, Ronin actually gains more from the opponent's cards than the opponent gains from their own. And so I think we should be okay here. Alexander, Death Note anime. I know what Death Note is. I've just never watched that one. I've watched several, but Death Note was not one that I've caught just yet. Maybe if you're Gohan and Q is your father, maybe that could be the take on it. Tien at least held his own versus Cell 2. That's true, but then after that it kind of went downhill, right? So I'm guessing Q didn't draw into into a very good play line. Maybe he had something very specific in mind. I bet he's running a leech. Maybe this is like a negative kind of lockdown list. Either that or he's feeling really generous and he donated a few cubes for the cause. Yeah, I think that was definitely an unfortunate draw. That's an unusually timid play from Q. Yeah, I know. I've never seen him just go like into a very standard like Devil Dino into Mystique style play. I'm guessing he just didn't draw into it. Death Note is straight fire. Joshua, I need to check it out then. I've heard really good things. I've watched a lot of anime. It's just for some reason Death Note never fell on my list. I've watched Dragon Ball Z a long time ago, and it may be kind of a little more obscure. It's not as popular. I watched Yu Yu Hakusho, and then more recently I watched like Black Clover, My Hero. I watched, oh my gosh, what is the one where they're fighting giants? Attack on Titan. And then there's one other one, Full Metal Alchemist. I watched a lot of that one, but there's a lot of fillers in that one. And then, of course, your natural ones when you're growing up, like Pokemon, Digimon. I watched Monster Rancher, too. I really enjoyed Monster Rancher. I think over Digimon, even. It just didn't have as long of a running. And so we do have Nightcrawler. We're going to be able to at least use Miles Morales this game. You should watch Perfect Blue for spooky season. Is it another anime? That one I haven't heard of either. TLSG 90s kid confirmed with the Yu Yu Hakusho. That is absolutely true. I was born like 91, and so I grew up in the 90s, and so like that the animes hit right around the time I was getting interested in those sorts of things, and so yeah, you're not wrong with that one. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is better than just Full Metal Alchemist. Maybe I need to check that one out too. I think we need to play our bishop here. We also need to move our Nightcrawler so that he doesn't get destroyed by Murder World. That forces our timeline for Miles Morales up a little bit. More ideally, Jessica Jones is our turn 4 play, but I think depending on what we draw, we might not play Miles Morales this game. Jessica Jones is going to be more power overall, but if we draw into Thor, that's going to be a perfect turn 4 play for us. What's your favorite game-based anime? And it's not a popular one for sure. I did like Pokemon growing up. I liked Yu-Gi-Oh growing up. But for some reason I had a really, and I liked Digimon quite a bit. For some reason I had a really soft spot for Monster Rancher. And I don't know how big it was in like most of the world. But I really enjoyed the game, being able to switch out the CD. It was around the PlayStation 1 time. You switched out the disc, and you would get new monsters based on that disc. And for whatever reason, that ideal blew my mind, and I was absolutely hooked. And so yeah, they discarded Hella. Thank you for looking out, Addy. Or no, thank you for looking out, Alexander. And then Addy, hey, how's it going? Yeah, there you go. Now you're looking out. And then Sammy, thank you as well. Mice. Doraemon is the most famous in Asia. I haven't heard of that one. Maybe I'll Google it. I probably need to create a list. I'm really bad about wanting to remember things, and then as soon as stream ends, it just like kind of wipes from my mind. If you heard of the movie Black Swan, then Blue Perfect is the inspiration. Oh, I have heard of Black Swan, and so I'll again, I want to check it out. I want to look it up. I just hope that I remember it by the end of the stream. Full Metal Alchemist strayed from the manga because it caught up. Oh, and then they wrote their own stuff. Gotcha. Brotherhood is the true manga. Okay, so that would definitely, I think, be better overall. And so yeah, I think I need to go back and check out Brotherhood because it lost me. It lost me with all of the fillers and the kind of the middle episodes. That it was just really hard to follow. And then Scott Carroll, feels like Danger Room is a featured location on how many times it's been. Yeah, I've been seeing Danger Room quite a bit, and I don't know if maybe they've tweaked some of the occurrences of the locations, but the cyberpunk anime is also pretty great. Oh, I did watch Arcane. That's the League of Legends one, right? Being a League of Legends fan, whenever that came out, at first I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. There's no way it's good. And then I binged it all in one night. You haven't heard of Doraemon? No, I haven't. But now I feel like I should have. And then Dad, I had to AFK. Did we beat Q? Yes, we beat Q. It looked like he had, ooh, the Odin into the Hela resummons. Pretty interesting, but they don't have anything else queued up, do they? No, they have the magic. That's an interesting play. We did beat Q. He had a bad hand. And I don't know, did Q jump back in? Oh, gotcha. You did jump back in. You said good game, had an awful draw. That was not the Medusa list. Okay. I don't think we go with Iron Man. We already win this one. There's no way that they come up over in the power. They can come up over in power here, so I think we play Miles and Thor just to try and get some power into Danger Room. But overall, I think we're okay. The Hela's already been resummoned. They can drop like a Giganto naturally. They can drop one of their big cards. But they just can't impact the Murder World location. It's going to be hard for them to impact Limbo as well. And then Chauncey, Doraemon is a kid's anime. Will be good for TLSG's daughter. Maybe I need to check it out. Right now she hasn't watched too much TV. But I know as she gets older, we're absolutely gonna cave on that. And so being able to watch something with her might be good. We want name reveal. For me or for my daughter? What's your power, Miles Morales? I can backflip pretty cool. So we have TVA this game. This one actually looks like it's going to be in our 1991. I feel old. Don't feel old. I just hit 30. But I think it all just depends. Yeah, don't feel old, Dry. Don't feel old. I'm sure you're fine. The thing I like about this game is that it brings such a range of age groups to it. It attracts just a large amount of different people, different demographics, different age groups. So I know that there are several people that are younger than me that play, several that are older. I just like that we can kind of have that one, I don't know, avenue that we all enjoy. And so 91. Oh, 91 here too. I feel like our generation grew up a little bit while we're still youthful in our 30s. Yeah. Yeah, at least for now. It may catch up to us eventually. Hey, Chauncey, you just got Mystique. Congratulations. That one is a huge one. Hopefully that wasn't your last card, your very last card of the deck, or of the collection track. But that one's definitely a huge one. That unlocks so many deck possibilities. Yeah. The Mystique is more important than your age. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just breeze over it. But no, Mystique is a huge unlock. I think they spent so much gold for the avatar. Yeah, and some people like to. Hey, Jay Johnson, thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Some people like to spend a little bit of gold to kind of help support the game, and absolutely, I think that's pretty cool. Me personally, I'm gonna buy variants to help support it after we have all of the collection, after everything's kind of pushed and set in stone, depending on what that reoccurring cost is. I think at that point we help support the game by buying some of the cool variants. The only downside 30ish is is the ability to bend knees. It's just not quite as flexible as it used to be. And they played Invisible Woman into Gamma Lab. That tells me they're probably wanting to hide things behind her. She's actually going to turn into a Hulk, so they're no longer going to be able to hide their cards. And so I think that alone gives us a little bit of an advantage here. No, it wasn't my last one. Maybe 1/3 of the way. Nice, nice. It's a nice one to have pretty early. And then Friars, what do you make of them announcing pool 4 and 5? I don't know. And the way that they just kind of breezed it in there was interesting. So I know that they've been kind of alluding to how are we going to unlock Thanos and Galactus. I think pool 5 is going to be that. He said they're going to be super rare or uber rare, or however Ben explained it or I guess classified it. I don't know. We should have moved our Nightcrawler over into Gamma Lab. What are we thinking? We would have had a cheap Miles Morales. We'd have had 2 Hulks. Ugh. That was a bad oversight. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really curious because they did just recently say that we can spend all of our caches and we wouldn't have a downside. And then now it seems like maybe we need our caches for the collector's tokens and things like that. So while I'm glad that we got the variants, I am a little bit sad because it seems like they might be useful. So stockpiling may have been the play. Yeah, Nicholas, move Nightcrawler. That one was the play. That one was the play for us. And then Chubbs, do you get a tax deduction buying cards since it's a business expense? So I think somewhat. I think somewhat. It depends because buying the cards can be used. I have to talk to like a professional because I don't know for sure. But I think the way that it'll work is that because we are buying them as a way to create more content, and therefore, are we back? Hey guys, we should be back. We should be back. Are we back, guys? Are we back? Thank you, Giovanna, for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Are we back, guys? Are we live? Are we here? Are we good? Are we back? We're back. Okay. Oh no, that was scary. Tax guy was like, "Don't incriminate yourself." Oh, the tax guy was looking out for me. the whole talk of business expenses got the IRS involved. They said shut it down right now. We can't have him spilling any secrets. Oh my gosh. So how do we overcome their 35 power lane? That's 15 extra power. Actually, we can just do Hulk, right? Or not Hulk. We can do Iron Man. That pushes us to 40. We win this lane. We just have to hope that they can't push enough power into Atlantis, which 17 power, even if they play one card and it goes down a little bit, I think that's still a pretty decent play. Yeah, Iron Man usually does it. And they don't have a way to counter it. I think that's going to be our best shot. I don't know that we win with this. It would have been better to have like a Mystique and a Maximus for that last turn, or if we had moved Nightcrawler into Gamma Lab, we'd have the extra Hulk. We could have had Morales on the board. But we can't. If we move him now, we won't be able to. I guess last turn we should have moved him, but we got distracted by the disconnection. And then going back to just before we got disconnected. Hey, they played leader. We played into their capped out lane, so they couldn't copy the Iron Man. So we do come out with another 4 cubes. What a great cube gaining stream. So far we're climbing back up. We dropped a couple of ranks from experimentation, but we're climbing those right now. But Daniel, as far as like the trigger for Morales, we have Nightcrawler as our own personal one. A lot of locations will force cards to move as well, which will allow us to move him or play him at a discounted rate. And then if we run into anybody that's running their own movement cards, we get the upside of those as well. So I don't think we need to like cram pack a lot of movement pieces. I think we're able to get a decent amount of upside with just maybe 1 or 2. On those games where we get to utilize him, we get an upside. Otherwise, if we drop him at 4, or maybe we don't drop him at all, but he gives us kind of that flexibility. They only really win with like a rogue and a card on mini lab. Yeah, that would have been the play. You're playing move / lockjaw deck right now. No Morales, really. So like a full-on move component, as in Mice. It's an unusual. Have you seen leader copying leaders? And there are four. Yeah. So the reason it does that is if it's in the same lane, your leader copies their leader, and then your copied leader has the unrevealability, which copies whatever they played, which was a leader. And so then it kind of bounces back and forth and it fills up the lane. What's your favorite card in the game? Favorite and strongest, I think, are very different. As far as like which one I think is the strongest, I think Iron Man is incredibly versatile. But as far as favorite, we have to go with Wong. Just how much fun we poke at him, just for like the dad jokes that it enables. I really enjoy the Wong. The peak with Ronin is big, and I think we hold it at least for a little bit. I think we kind of feign maybe weakness a little bit and see what they drop in the peak. Maybe they're running a gambit, and at that point, maybe it's going to be tough. Ooh, the lockjaw into the Wong lane is kind of interesting. Maybe they're running something that goes wide, so maybe they're running something like Dr. Doom, where they can play Dr. Doom, rotate it in. White Tiger, they can rotate it in. It's kind of interesting. Wong and Zola are my two most wanted cards. Yeah, I think strongest would probably be, or most versatile, Iron Man. Strongest or most like enabling, Mystique, and then just favorite overall, I think, is Wong. Iron Man is the savior in Snap, like he was in the MCU. Yeah, he comes in and he can push huge amounts of power. Wong seems to enable a lot of fun plays. He's the reason we can do like a mill and destroy archetype deck. A lot of like really cool things with his interaction with Odin. Just a lot of really cool things that he can enable. So I think we start trying to push some power into the peak. We are going to be able to do maybe a Ronin and an Iron Man on that final turn, just in case they hit the high roll there. The wave feels kind of unfortunate, but at least it's not the last turn. If they draw into their Odin, ooh, they draw back into their Wasp. So if they do an Odin, if they hit us with an Odin, that feels kind of rough. So they're not going to have very many cards in hand. They do have Wasp. I doubt they do the Odin. We have to play over here this turn. I think we just play Iron Man. Not very strong, but I like Juggernaut. I like Juggernaut's ability. I think it's very unique. And so as far as like not being strong, unless you have a way to like lock down that lane that you pushed it out of, all it's doing is like redistributing that power across the board. But I like his ability a lot. It can add a lot of disruption. And then the fact that you can couple that with Storm is huge. And then we're gonna get rid of the bot. They found us again today, so we're gonna put them in timeout, and then we are going to hide them entirely. And so I think we play Iron Man. It's not going to be a huge play. We might be able to draw into our Mystique and play over into Wakanda. We might end up needing to retreat depending on what they drop here. Yeah, Storm plus Juggernaut is always does wonders. It's really potent. When it works well. But then what I find is a lot of times it's hard to overcome that that other lane. You have to find a way to win one additional lane. Ooh, so we do get the Mystique here. And then TLSG, what do you think of Yellow Jacket? Do you think Yellow Jacket will ever see play? I own him, but I never see him in game. I've seen him a handful of times. I think he's really difficult to build around. Yellow Jacket for Lockjaw is a free spin, but it reduces the power of your cards overall. And so, I don't know. He's a tough one. I think we use Mystique for the Iron Man trigger, and then we drop Ronin. Then we do Nightcrawler. Is that going to be our best play line, or do we play away from this lane? Sometimes I try and overcome the difficult lane. It's less power overall for us to overcome the wave location. But we get the upside of having the additional 8 power already in lane from Jessica Jones. You think Ronin to the right? Away from our Mystique Iron Man? And then Haki, how are you doing? I'm doing good. I hope you're having a great day as well. Hey, Tiandre, riding a train in Italy, getting my TLSG fix on. Thank you for jumping in and joining us. And then Q, you said Ronin right. And then Nightcrawler to the right wouldn't have overcame their wave. And so that one wouldn't have been necessarily a play line. Left maybe. Left maybe would have been the play line. But I think with playing 3 cards, that gives us 6 power here. I think we overcome their 22 power, right? You know what it do, flight crew? Wait, do we have a flight crew? I may be missing the reference. Yeah. We tie the left lane. We win the peak very heavily, more than they win the far right lane. So that was a little bit lucky that they flipped into like a lower power card, or that they didn't push just a little bit more over into the Avengers compound. But you were right. Ronin over here would have won this location. Ronin to the right, Q. That's why you're the arch rival, the nemesis. You're always thinking one step ahead. The 14 power in Wakanda would have beat him, and we could have even done like a 14 power plus a Nightcrawler, which would have been pretty big as well. You can lose left, only 4 needed. Let me see. Let me catch up on a couple. And then Tiandre, I know that I said welcome, but thank you for being here. I hope that your train ride goes well, and I hope that you get your TLSG fix in. And then Dr. Bolita, I don't know if you've answered it. Did you know that Miles overrides wave? I didn't. So he still sits at 1, or does he go down to 0? I mean, I would assume he'd still be 1 because that's his hard set ability. But I'm curious if he gets reduced, like if he goes down to 0. I would think the interaction would be 1. Just what I needed, the sexy bot. Oh my gosh. So they don't find us that often. He stays at 1. Yeah, that's what I would assume. Just because of his hard set ability. And then the bots, they find us some days really quickly, and other days they don't find us very often at all. And so I think whenever we do our extended live streams, so first up on the 18th, we're going to have to set it into subscriber only chat mode. And so you'll have to be subscribed to the channel for like 4 minutes or 3 minutes before you can chat. But subscribing is free, so it's not going to cost you guys anything, but it will help prohibit the bots from spamming us up throughout the whole thing. And so we do have Nightcrawler that we're going to be able to move over into the Sanctum Sanctorum. I'm going to wait to move him at least until we draw Miles to see if we can get any upside. Maybe we can actually play Miles this turn. And then Miles is the set cost. Yeah, that does make sense. And it could open up some brewing possibilities. It could with maybe dropping a movement card and then wave on turn 5. Nicholas, what happens on the 18th? So the 18th is the official, it's the global launch. And so I want to make it, I'm doing an extended live stream on that day. Typically we only stream for about an hour at a time because we fit it in during lunch. I took off the entire day of the 18th. And we're going to be doing an extended live stream. So I'm going to just live stream as soon as I wake up in the morning, and we're going to be playing Snap pretty much all day. So I want to do some like fun, different kind of challenges, some different kind of interactive things throughout the entire thing to kind of make it a really fun, joyous event. And so that is what's going to be happening on the 18th. I hope that you were able to at least catch it for a little while. Yeah, in the global release. Mjolnir plus Jessica Jones to the right. I don't think we get anything, any benefit from playing Mjolnir to the right. Knight, I don't know if it's going to be a 24-hour. I know that it's at least going to be like 12 hours. I haven't decided if I want to make it kind of like a subathon or memberathon where like it's a set time initially and then that extends. Or if we just want to go with different tiers. So I know one of them, if you guys don't know the origin of TLSG, Is Mjolnir going to make an appearance on the 18th? Absolutely. Mjolnir will be there. The eye patch variant will be there. There's going to be all kinds of shenanigans that are going to happen. But I don't know. I know that. So if you don't know the origin of TLSG or the username, whenever I would, it's been like 8 years. I had a Twitch account for all of like 2 weeks that I live streamed on. I ported those over into a YouTube account that I had. I still have those videos, and so at a certain goal, I would pull those up and let chat pick one to watch. They're really bad. We probably wouldn't watch the whole thing. I would probably cringe too much. But I think it would be fun nonetheless. So this one becomes kind of difficult. We can do Iron Man, but we want to move Nightcrawler over into Sanctum Sanctorum. That's the easiest one for us to win. We don't really want to play Maximus because that forces them to draw into more cards. Good luck. Gonna head over to the Miles Morales video. Hey, thank you for stopping by. I hope that you enjoy the Miles video. TLSG, you're telling the wrong story. The wrong story of the username? You think he extends in the vault? If so, then Iron Man feels warranted. Otherwise it's a mistake. And if he extends, we can play there on turn 7. Ooh, so they play Sarah. So that does lead me to believe they probably will extend the game here. And then Lethal Protector, thank you for subscribing to our YouTube account. And then TLSG, you're telling the wrong story. As far as the name, I haven't come up with any like really witty things. As far as just yet. 50-50 for the Tiger Lady. I don't think that they play White Tiger. I think they're running a negative serotonin where they would extend the game, and once they extend the game from Mojo World, they'll be able to play into the vault. Once again, they probably are running something like a rogue. Let's go ahead and move over. We're gonna move our Nightcrawler over. Let's go ahead and copy the Iron Man here. We have a pretty big power push here. If they don't extend the game in Mojo World, or if they don't pre-fire their rogue, then I think we win in this location. And if they extend the game, then we can play Maximus into the vault, Maximus and Sunspot into the vault to get the Iron Man bonus here. The Tiger Lady play. It could be the Tiger Lady play. So they snap back. I don't know. I think we're fine with the Mystique play. Unless they pre-drop the rogue, anticipating that we drop an ongoing ability, and then even then they only have 3 cards here. And then we do have the magic coming in, so we do get a turn 7. We can play in the vault again. Let's see. How about the players playing beta? Are we getting also the featured variants on release? Ardref, and I think they answered it. There is a way that we're able to claim them. Yeah. A month after a global launch to get a variant. And then Umais, no, I won't forget anyone. I don't think we're gonna see that much growth. I don't expect to see that much growth. Yeah, I expect a rogue as well, either here or here. I guess if they do a rogue and a Mystique, or a rogue and an Iron Man, they probably have the advantage. Oh yeah. The Sunspot's gonna be 1 additional power over the... Yeah, rogue into Mystique would win it for them, because then they could steal it here, copy it here. That's probably going to be their play, and we probably lose this. We have enough. Oh, and then Pilk. Did the super chat go off? I saw the chat pop up, and then I was waiting to hear it, and then I don't think I even paid attention. Did it go off? If not, I'll type that in as a manual trigger. I think we lose this one. Negative serotonin is a really tough one to go against. If we were really no notification, oh, okay, I'll copy it in. I'm not sure why it didn't. And so while we are losing this one, I'll go ahead and switch over into the overlay screen. So they do play 3 cards. I really don't think we have the advantage here, but I also kind of want to see it play out. So there's the Rogue, which will win them the Limbo location, right? We don't have enough power to overcome it, especially with the Mojo. Yeah. So we lose that one. Then the Mystique. Oh, yeah. Yep. It is everything that we thought it was going to be, and a little bit worse because the Wolfsbane on top of it. Yeah, playing against negative serotonin, once they get the Mr. Negative on curve, the Sarah on 5, and then the Magic on 6, it's really hard to compete against. So let's go ahead and emulate one really quickly. Let's go ahead and do Pilk. I'm not sure why it's not triggering like it's supposed to.
Goblin. Oh no, it failed. I'll be back.
So let me make. I mean, the alert worked whenever I triggered it manually. I need to figure out why that's.
I play Green Goblin. Oh no, it failed. I'll be back.
It was just waiting a little while. It was delayed just ever so slightly, because that one was not me. I triggered the first one, but not the second one. Hey Butch, thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I appreciate it. I hope that you like. I hope that you like the content. But let's go ahead and jump into another one. Let's gain a few of those cubes back. And then a Kaichu. Heyo, another positive stream. Yeah. So we are. If we didn't get greedy and want to see, oh, the bots are back. Let's go ahead and hide this one. We'll go ahead and ban him. Get him out. They found us. They found us today. So if I didn't get greedy and want to see the last of that, last game, then we would be another 4 cubes up. But yeah, a pretty positive stream so far. Akaichu. I power lose always makes me rage. Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things about climbing consistently is that you can't get too attached to one particular game. Because I find that whenever I like really take a game to heart and I'm like, I need to, like, I made a dumb play, I need to overcome it. At that point, I start losing a lot more often and the losses are a lot larger. And so if that's what you're referring to, yeah, I have to keep that in check sometimes. So we have Nightcrawler. He's going to get a bonus from moving over into Kunlun. That will make our Maximus cheap next turn. If we can draw into Thor, that'll be a perfect kind of curve. If not, then we'll kind of assess it from there. And then Paul, they really need to do something about magic. Being able to drop it on 6 and enable big combos like this counters normal playstyle too much. I think yes and no. I think it is really. I think it is really tough to play against. But at the same time, we can identify that they were running a negative serotonin deck list. We didn't necessarily have to snap that early. We could have waited until they snapped or until we saw magic, and then at that point we're only risking 2. And so I think there are counterplays around it if you kind of use your context clues, at least for like a really net decked style deck. And then Dunkoro, hey, how's it going? I hope that you're having a great day so far. Thank you for jumping in and joining us. And then Akaichu, how's Clarice doing? She's good. She's over on the couch right now. She's not laying back in her normal spot. Ooh, and so they hit Mr. Negative again. This is probably another one of those where we will probably end up retreating it at some point. But I think until then, maybe we hope that they don't draw into. Maybe we hope that they don't draw into their rogue. If they extend the game with magic at that point, it's a definite retreat. I think we have a pretty good shot at winning in Kiln. We just have to figure out a way to win one of the other ones. And then Hollow being unattainable, being an untiltable mountain. Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing in climbing consistently, is being able to not be tilted as often or as much. So we're actually going to lose the middle location. They play 1 card and we end up losing that one. But they haven't snapped yet, so I think we are okay to do the Mystique and the Maximus play. That will allow both our Ronins to be a little bit bigger. If they don't extend the game, then we should win the vault. If they do extend the game, they can play over there. At that point, we retreat. I think we learned our lesson last time. We're just going to take a 1 cube loss versus a potential 9 or a potential 8 cube. In the extended games, Mr. Negative, if they hit that perfect kind of curve, it becomes really, really difficult. And I know they already had Mystique out on the board, so there would be a win condition there, but finding it becomes really, really difficult. So sometimes it's easier to kind of just rinse and repeat and mitigate your losses against the really strong ones. And then Wes, hey, how's it going? I'm doing well so far. I stayed up a little bit too late last night. Kind of brewing some different deck ideas for Miles, but overall I'm doing great. The day's been pretty good so far. And then Drew, I just wanted to say I appreciate not only your builds but your explanation and demos. It helped me a lot in building my own decks. P.S. You stomped me on stream last week. Oh no, Drew, I'm sorry. I never intend to stomp anybody. I'm glad that you're enjoying the videos and the content. And then the streams, like there are days where I absolutely get stomped. And so I don't ever want anyone to like feel that angst whenever they match up against me. Because I know that bad draws happen. I know that, you know, maybe you're working on trying to build your own unique deck build, and sometimes those draws don't work out and they take a lot of testing. So never feel bad for a loss. I think they can always be explained. And then Astros, would Magic be better overall if she forced initiative in some way? Give you or your opponent so it's consistent? I don't know. I think there would be ways to abuse that Astros. So like if it forces the opponent to have initiative, you could always like start running a leader so that you get the upside of whatever like buffs or bonuses they get. So like a Mystique, it would copy that on reveal before you copy it. I think it would be abusable either way. And then Harry, did you sleep well? Yeah, for the little bit that I slept, I did sleep well. And then this morning with work, I had a power outage. Actually, even in office and the house both had power outages. And so I was tethered to my mobile hotspot, and so it was, you know, awful connection. But I was still trying to work through that to get everything done so I could go live. But it's definitely been a start to the day. And then Max, your notification should come through, but thank you so much for joining us as a channel member. It is very, very much appreciated.
Hey, welcome. It took you long enough.
There we go. I'm glad that the notifications are working again. Thank you so much, Max, for helping out, for supporting the channel and supporting the content. Can you counter Magic by changing Limbo? Yeah, to a new location. Mad Cookie, you can. That's why it's so strong to drop Magic on 6. Because otherwise, if you're running something like a Storm or a Scarlet Witch, you can always change that location on turn 6. Right now, it doesn't get double the cubes, so it doesn't act as a true end of game, similar to like a TVA victory. But yeah, you can force in the game on turn 6. And then Max, thanks for all the content. No, thank you guys for being there to enjoy it. You guys enable me to continue to push and produce more content, and so I can't thank you guys enough. And then Friar, so if I'm understanding the future of Snap, would it be best for us to spend all of our gold to get through pool 3 before launch? Friars, I don't know. I want to say no, but I don't know for sure. I know that they're releasing the collector's tokens into the collection track, and so that's going to let you kind of target a particular card that you want to unlock. And so with that, I think it might be beneficial to hold your gold until then. That way you can progress your collection track a little bit faster once those release. You can get more of those quicker so that you can unlock those particular cards that you want. That's my gut feeling. But again, I don't know. That's not set in stone. That's just my own personal humble opinion. And I'm glad you were able to catch a live stream as well, Max. And then Harry, that's good. Nice to see you still have some energy while working and live streaming for us. Yeah, so my daughter's starting to feel better, and so that has taken a big burden off. That was really tough last week, and so this week she's starting to feel better. She's running around. She's back to her normal happy self, and so that takes a huge lift off of us. So I think we play Ronin here. I just don't know exactly where. They ran a Venom, so they're running some kind of destruction. Maybe they're running the Patriot deck list that we featured a couple days ago. I think we play Ronin into the Embassy. If we copy it with Mystique, then we can get a pretty decent push in Shadowlands. We could always push it over into the Gia. I think we hold Nightcrawler where he is. I was thinking about moving him just in case we draw into Miles, but I don't think at this point it's necessarily worth it. Yeah, the people who want Mystique are finally. Yeah, I had to wait until the very end of our collection track to unlock it, and so I was definitely in that boat. Turn 5 Magic is fine. Yeah, turn 5 Magic you're able to anticipate it. Turn 6, you drop all of your late games, and that's part of the strategy behind it, is that you can force them to drop into their Hela, into their big units, and then they don't necessarily have a chance to react. That gives you a lot of counterplay potential. I just think it's become really common, and so it's really been pinpointed and highlighted recently. So they have Patriot. They could do a Mystique to copy it, but I don't think they have the full combo. So I think our Mystique and our Thor would have been enough to overcome that power level. They just didn't draw into the right play line quickly enough, I assume. And then Gabriel, I can't wait for the collector's tokens. Yeah, the collector's tokens are going to be big. I am a little bit afraid that they're going to set the prices to something like outrageous, so that you have to almost have a full collection by the time you have enough to really unlock anything. I don't think they would do that, but there is a part of me, like a little voice in the back, that's a little bit worried that might happen. But yeah, the current variance will be 1200. 25% of the current variance will be 1200. The rest will go down to 700. So if you are just looking to collect as many variants as you can, and you're not necessarily worried about collection log, now would definitely be the time to start spending on some of those variants that you see. I know that we have a couple that have been confirmed at moving up to the super rare, the 1200 price point, but I think most of them are just kind of speculation at this point. So Hair, yeah. So they said the tokens are going to be free from the collection track, but that makes me a little bit worried that it's going to be hard to attain them. Kind of like in other mobile games where you have your premium currency, and it's really hard to gain a sufficient amount to really do anything outside of buying them. And so I am a little bit worried that might be the path that it goes down, but we'll have to see. It does seem like they have the best interest of the players in mind, and so I hope that prevails over like any, I guess, badly monetized content. I'm okay with monetizing content, but the stuff that feels forced usually has more backlash than it helps. They said they're going to be a welcome pack. There's going to be a welcome package. Absolutely going to have a lot of tokens in it. Yeah, I would assume that they really want to welcome the new players in, especially to kind of help swallow the fact that the beta players kind of have that leg up. I think they would want some kind of catch-up mechanic, and so yeah, I could see a welcome pack being pretty decently priced. Astros, I wouldn't think it would be any more than maybe $5. And then I think you just probably get maybe 5 times the normal value out of that $5 than you normally would, as a way to kind of help welcome into the game. Maybe you get a unique variant. I think there's a couple of cool things they can do with a welcome package. Yeah, and Akaichu, I don't think they're going to go back to the Nexus event path. I think they probably, I want to say they probably learned from their mistake there, and that they're not going to go as heavily monetized, because that one was very, very much heavily monetized, and so it was really inaccessible. And so it seems like everything that they've at least mentioned since then feels like they are wanting to push towards a more accessible, like overall, player-friendly game. I just hope that holds true. And I think only time will tell. I think that they do have the best interests in mind. The devs have been really responsive, but it's one of those things we just have to kind of wait and see. The welcome package, Mr. Negative Sarah Mystique. Here you go. Here's everything that you need to absolutely run the meta. Wouldn't that be something? Zohair? Oh, wait, me? I already said it. For some reason, I thought you were asking chat to say it, but that doesn't make any sense, so here. They would just type it, they wouldn't be able to say it. But no, I'm glad that there are some names that I absolutely, like, I absolutely just can't say. I always try to pronounce the names as best as I can. So I'm glad that I was able to get yours correct. So I'm going to go ahead and play Ronin into Hellfire Club with a discard deck list. He's not going to be very big. Iron Man may have actually been a little bit better in Fisk Tower and then just trying to push for winning the other lane. Because Ronin's going to probably end up being like 0 power. At most, maybe he's 6 because we have the Maximus. But I think we play away from the Dracula lane. It does look like a kind of like a flood the board, low to the ground Dracula deck. So maybe we have a shot if we do the Thor and the Maximus. I don't know. It just depends on how big their last turn play is. They haven't discarded anything heavily, so like an Apocalypse, we don't have to worry about that. I would anticipate an Infinite coming down in the sewer system, and so that should make the other 2 lanes pretty easy. Would be cool if the welcome pack contained collector's caches or reserves for extra chemicals. That would be pretty cool. That way it's like additional rolls. Oh, we don't quite do it. The Maximus into the left lane would have been the play. Unfortunate. We started off really strong, but we're waning a little bit. And I think that's going to be the story of this season for a while. At least until we kind of get through all of the Mr. Negative Serotonins, all of the really like structured decks. And I think once we have global release, I think they're going to do a large release of cards. For some reason, I think, it may be Hopium. I hope that they come out with the cards soon, as all of our like catch-up cards. And that would create a lot of like brewing and like, creativity again. And I think that would make it easier to climb overall. And then a Kaichu. Miles Morales is not like a high roll, right? Yeah, no, Miles Morales, I think in any deck that you put him in, he's more of a mid-roll. Hopium, maybe Copium. Yeah, yeah, that might be. They've been saying soon on the Nexus event replacement for 3 months now. I think at this point it's becoming Copium. I just have to keep telling myself that it's going to be fine. Did you try a Miles in a deck with Juggernaut and Polaris yet? Not exactly that one. I have tried one with a Polaris. It's actually a Cerebro 5 deck list, which is kind of nutty. It has some pretty fun swings most of the time, but it's more of a for fun deck. Yeah, I think Miles is a low roll. Yeah, because even if you hit his trigger, you have to, if you are adding cards into your deck specifically to trigger Miles, at that point, are you losing potential good plays or potential better plays because of it? And so I think as he stands right now, he might be able to fit into some decks that already run those movement components, but I don't think he's pivotal in any list, at least right now. That I think time will tell. Maybe he will have locations that help support him. Maybe he will have a card that comes out that really supports him, kind of like Jane Foster did with Thor. I feel like Jane Foster really started putting Thor into the playable category. Maybe Miles will have something like that, have a partner in crime. But as far as right now, I think it's just a mid-roll. When it happens, whenever you don't get your trigger, it ends up being a low roll. I'm trying Miles in a Falcon Beast deck that incidentally has Iron Fist and Human Torch. Yeah, that was another kind of thought process I had, San. That was another thought process I had, San, was like a bounce bros style list. I think Miles would do okay in it, but then that still relies on you either adding the additional Nightcrawler into your deck list or drawing into Iron Fist at some point. And so then you're still kind of relying on a couple of specific cards. And then Vin Kelsier, Mana Cost put Thor into playable. I thought Thor was really strong even at 4. I started playing him in a lot of different deck lists, and so I think bringing him down made him even more accessible. But I think he was playable even before that. But I think to be playable before that, you almost had to have Jane Foster in your deck list as well. So we're gonna play Jessica Jones into the Bishop lane. They Venomed into the hub. And they have Typhoid Mary, so they might have an Enchantress that we need to watch out for. So we don't want to play anything into the Jessica Jones lane this turn because we want her to gain that +4, that +4 bonus. I think maybe we play Iron Man mid. We'll be able to do Maximus or Mystique in Maximus. We can always move the Nightcrawler over. It depends where we think we're going to have to push that additional power. We could move Nightcrawler over into the Iron Man lane now. That way we can drop our miles. Let's go ahead and do that. Maybe Iron Man in the vault. But that's going to lose us. That's going to lose us 4 power from our Jessica Jones. Otherwise, I think it would be a decent play. But I feel like we're giving up the being able to try to compete in these other two if we drop it over there and we kind of forego that additional 4 power. And I know that currently it would net us 7 and then even more from the bishop play. And that it may be the right play. Dropping him over there may be the right play because they may drop some really powerful cards over there. And especially since it's going to be locked down. But the greed in me wouldn't let me do it. So now we can do... featured locations are great, especially Peak. That location was good fun. It was a featured location, all right, Pilk. It was definitely a featured location. You can say that one for sure. So I bet they have something like a Red Skull. This deck list feels like it really would run something like an Arnhem Zola or a Red Skull. You think Death? Potentially. And if I was them, I'd play it into the left-hand side, right? So can we do Mystique? I guess we have to push power here, right? And then the 1's not going to be enough. No. Yeah, I think Iron Man over here would have been the safer play. I think you were right. I'm not sure who called it out, but I think you were definitely right. Because this does not feel like it. And actually, not playing the Angela would give us more from the Sunspot. But yeah, this one's not it. This one's gonna be retreat. I don't think we even try and humor dropping those cards. I think with that order, with having this one locked down, no way to extend it. With them really in love with their Venom variant, I think we just have to retreat for the 1 cube versus the 4. I don't think it's worth it to push for a losing lane at that point. Then Alex, hello mate, I'm at work, but I came to say hi. Hey, I'm glad that you stopped by. I hope that you're having a great day at work so far, and I appreciate you stopping by, even if it's just for a second to say hi. And then Astros, I'd love a seasonal ladder with a restricted list of cards. Either a restrictive list of cards or maybe like a rotating set of locations. I think both would be pretty. I think both would be pretty cool. So we do have Q, so we are going to go for an 8 cube game. He could make us. Absolutely neutral, or we could end up being positive 16. So a lot of it comes down to this. And so yeah, we have the Q. You didn't copy Iron Man and played Maximus instead. Oh, he's already gone. We'll see if Q remembers what he was talking through there. I guess playing the Maximus the Maximus naturally. Draft mode like Hearthstone would be neat. Although I think it would need 12 choices of 4 cards with a couple of swaps. I don't know. I think a draft mode would be really appreciated by the players. It does seem something that they're greatly interested in. And there's even been some websites that they developed that will help kind of do a draft mode. I actually plan on doing some kind of draft soon. I'm going to do a structured video where I'm going to draft my cards, and then I want to also do one where you guys, the chat, can vote on the cards from that draft. There's a really cool location, or really cool website, and website that allows that to happen. It gives you a link. You're able to kind of vote on which cards you want to play and where. And so I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun for like stream content. And I think there will be kind of 2 aspects to it. Doing it from the angle of angle of like a structured where I'm really trying to win, and then the other one where you guys get to vote, and then we just have to try to make do with what you have from there. So they used Polaris, which pulled our Angel out. This looks like a Cerebro 5 to me. Yeah, he gave us the Miles move, but this looks like Cerebro 5. It's a deck list that I've been playing around with. So it has the Polaris, it has Star-Lord, it has a couple of other cheeky plays in it. And so yeah, and then there's the Mysterio. So one of those is going to be 5 power as well. We have the leader, but the Scorpion hurts Cerebro deck lists quite a bit. And so after this turn, the cards are going to move over into Sanctum Sanctorum. So he should win the Sanctum Sanctorum. Yeah, the Scorpion really hurts a lot of those. So even if we don't get a full lane, the Scorpion is only going to be 4 power. And then the 5 powers mid. Yeah, 5 power mid. I think maybe like a Dr. Doom for that final play. Let's go with the Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, next turn we can go with like a Maximus and a Thor. Yeah, Cerebro 5 also benefits from Miles. Yeah, that's what kind of got Cerebro 5 on my radar, was you can use Polaris to pull a card over, you then get a discounted or cheaper Miles Morales out of it. I don't think it's as good or as consistent as like a Cerebro 3 even still, or Cerebro 2 even, now that Blue Marvel has been reduced down to 3 power. But I think it's decent nonetheless. That was so great. We haven't discarded anything though, but it's still a decent drop. So if we do the 6 power here, I mean, we can just do. Actually, we lose, right? We need to leave at least 1 energy, yeah? So if he hits Cerebro here, oh no, we lose this one. I think we focused too much on the raft and not enough on getting cards over into the Sanctum Sanctorum. So if he plays Cerebro here, this one has to be the real token. So he has 15 power in the raft already. If he gets Cerebro, that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Even if we skip, we get the 4 power, we get 10 power, so that puts us at 25. If we play just Maximus, that's going to give us 4, 5, 6, 7. That should push us over just a Cerebro. If he has Cerebro and Mystique, at that point we lose. But I think he probably runs a Dr. Doom. So I don't think we play Thor. I think we just do Hela and Maximus here. We still might lose, but at least we'll be close. We have a shot. I think this is more of a Dr. Doom and a Cerebro play than a Cerebro and a Mystique, but we could be wrong. There's a Cerebro, and then he's gonna get the Mystique as well, right? Oh no, Q coming to claim his cubes. I don't think there's a coming back. And then the Wolfsbane would have put it at 5 as well, but because we hit it with the Scorpion, oh no. we are absolutely a neutral stream. Oh no. Well, that's fitting. That is now 1-to-1 for Q. The Cerebro 5 can absolutely do some crazy things. And that's why I ran a similar one. I do want to still tweak mine a little bit further. But I had one built out that was very, very similar to his. Yeah. We're not going to switch over now. I'm still teching it out a little bit, but we're going to play a couple more. Now that we're neutral, we're going to play a couple more. Then J-Dip, hey TLSG, is Scorpion a Devil Dino tech? So for like the Devil Dino list that I ran recently, Jay? If so, yeah, I think if you replace it for another like similar like curve card, it's decent. I think Scorpion doesn't fit into anywhere just incredibly well, but he fits into a lot of places decently. And I think that's where his strength comes from. And then Q, that was a very, very good game. As soon as you played Polaris, I knew that it was a Cerebro 5. And whenever you played Star-Lord, I had my suspicions. And then we just didn't focus enough on getting power over and to the right. The Cerebro into Mystique was a nice draw line. So if we can draw, I mean, if we can draw into any cards that we can play, it'd be fantastic. Equally balanced cube gains and losses is the Q Thanos level threat. Is Q Thanos level threat? Q's pretty potent. We have at this point lost more times than we won against Q, and so he is always a very good opponent. Ooh, dropping Cerebro on turn 1 is really bold. Like if we had any kind of counter to it, that's really bold. Or I guess not turn 1, but on turn 3, so on curve. I think we played Thor here. We play Thor here over our Jessica Jones though. Jessica Jones will get +8 power from the Kamartaj location. That allows us to play our Ronin here and play away from the Kamartaj. Yeah, but the Cerebro variant does look pretty sleek though. I do like that we're seeing more Cerebro being played. It's still really susceptible to locations. And so it definitely still has its downfalls. But I do like that it's being played more. I think Jessica Jones is going to be a little bit better for us. I mean, if we drew into one of the hammers next turn, we could play it into Luke's bar and then benefit our Thor, but that's still only one lane. I think we're gonna go Jessica Jones. What deck do you recommend for newcomers when the game comes out? So Sean, that's a little bit difficult. So right now, a Zoo style deck list that runs a lot of 1-cost cards and then like Khazar and a few other like mid-range cards that benefit from like being flooded onto the board is really strong. And I think it will still hold strong, so you can probably have those cards by about collection level 100. But it depends. It depends on what we're seeing. So yeah, the double Scorpion is big. So we ruined the Cerebro play. We could do the double Thor as well. And actually, we don't even have to do double Scorpion. We can just ruin his last drop. And somebody asked, why would he play Cerebro and Mystique in different locations? I think most likely because he doesn't have a. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot about the Jessica Jones buff. Thank you, Dunkoro. I think most likely because this is a list that doesn't run an onslaught, so it doesn't need to be stacked because he's not going to be able to elevate them. So we're going to play Scorpion and Thor over into the right-hand side. That will ruin their turn 6 play. He might be running Cerebro 0. That could be the play line. No. Is it Cerebro? Cerebro, I don't know. The Wolfsbane into Kamartaj is kind of puzzling. I think it may have been a Cerebro 5 maybe, but the Kamartaj ended up not making that happen. I don't know. Maybe Cerebro was a decoy all along. So we don't have a great. Oh my gosh. We don't have a great way to split power. You think it's Cerebro 5? Yeah, Cerebro 5 would make sense, but then the Wolfsbane buffed up over it. And so, oh, actually, no, it didn't, did it? So it got 4 from that. So it is still 5, right? Yeah, nope. So he's still sitting at 5. So he's probably going to play 2 cards here, if he can, to push his Angela up to 5 power, and then these 2 would ideally be 5 power as well. I don't think we overcome that power. So he's going to have 3 cards in hand. That makes a 9 power Ronin. The only thing that we can hope for is that, I mean, if he has a Dr. Doom here, he absolutely wins the Luke's bar location. We have Iron Man, but we would have to hope that it pushes one of our lanes up higher than what he wins by and what he wins the other one by. Cerebro 5 oftentimes runs a Dr. Doom, and so if he forewent pushing Angelo to 5 power, that might be enough. I don't think the Iron Man is going to be enough to win us Kamartaj by enough, but we'll see. I forgot the Omega Red. The Omega Red won it for him. Oh my gosh. We are now Mr. Negative Streamer. The Omega Red coming in from a like, not even buffed up. We just didn't put enough resources over there. Oh, it might be time to pivot for a game. Do we run one Cerebro? Do we run one Cerebro 5 game before we jump back over into our work mode? So Cerebro 5 looks very similar. I did have Mysterio, but I'm going to take Mysterio out for a Wolfsbane. Drew, that was you? Oh my gosh, that was a very good game. I thought our Scorpion was going to be able to counter your Cerebro 5. We knew it was Cerebro 5, but that is 2 losses in a row for us for Cerebro 5. I am glad that you got your payback. I'm sad that it pushed us into Mr. Negative Stream. But I'm glad that you were able to get a good game off against us. And so let me take a snippet of this really quickly. I'm going to run like 1 or 2 Cerebro 5s because our aggro turned out to not be doing as well for us as it was last night. So let's do... Actually, yeah, we'll do it here. We will turn off the card overlay because I don't have those paired and ready. The deck list I'm still brewing, so it could see some changes. I don't know if this ever comes to a full video. I don't know if this is exactly where it ends up, but I think overall, I think it is going to be a fun list to play. And so we're going to switch over to Cerebro 5. It's very similar to what the others were running. I know that Ripley J runs a similar version, but it alters just a little bit. It has a rogue to be able to re-steal cards.
Hey, welcome. It took you long enough.
Hey, Drew. Thank you so much for jumping in and joining us as a channel member. I greatly appreciate the support. You push us into Mr. Negative cubes, but Mr. Positive in spirit. So thank you so much. I know Ripley had like a rogue to be able to regain his cards. And of course, we switch out of aggro whenever we have TVA. It's kind of unfortunate. We will be able to do an Angela into a Polaris into a cheap Spider-Man, though. So that could be a pretty decent play line. I think we just keep 1 card in Atlantis. Let's go ahead and play Angela into this lane. I think they probably play a card here or here. So I want to be able to stack Polaris into the Angela lane to buff her up. And, of course, to be able to discount our Miles Morales as well. Cerebro 4 win. They can name it D4C. I don't know. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. But we can pull their Psylocke over. So it's not as bad. They did ramp up. They can do a 4-cost card this turn. Cerebro 4. I played with Cerebro 4 in the stream a week ago. And I think Cerebro 4 still needs a little bit of support. Like this one got Miles Morales, which makes it feel a little less gimmicky and a little more possible. And so let's see. So I think we avoid the TVA lane. Actually, we could probably tie that location, right? We could probably tie the TVA. We can play Miles over there. I don't think they're going to be able to play multiple cards this turn. I'm going to go ahead and snap. And then yes, welcome Drew. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the members. With that, you get all of your cool emojis. So if you refresh the stream, you will have access to all of you have access to the growing list of emojis. You have the puppies. You have the me as Mjolnir, which chat has forbade me from ever transforming into again. And then a couple other cool ones in there, but don't spend too long looking at them. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one. Oh my gosh. Was it strong? No. yeah. Cerebro 4 is still lacking right now. But that could always change. That's the interesting thing with cards like Cerebro or Mr. Negative is that it is always kind of evolving. As new cards are released, their power technically grows because you have more options, more ability to kind of play around that specific set of power levels. your Mjolnir cosplay must have been a screamer thing. Oh, it was they said it was so scary that I should never do that again. And so it was definitely, it seems like it was definitely traumatizing to him. So I think we go ahead and play our Angela. If it turns out that they change the Bifrost location, we can always change Necrotia with magic. We do have the Cerebro and the Mystique in hand, so if we can draw Sarah, that's going to be a pretty big one. And then Dunkoro, yeah, you have the emojis too. I can insert the idea of those into the stream. If you hang out here long enough, there's a lot of people that gift memberships. Scary. It was not scary, to be honest. Scary, no. Trauma. Okay, that may have been it. My transformation into Mjolnir may not have been scary, but it was traumatizing. So we get the Sinister London. I don't know that we play our Deathlock there. I guess it's a guaranteed 2/5 cost versus trying to play around and drop 2 cards naturally into the Angela lane. So I think actually it's fine. So they storm Necrotia. Drop Cerebro right now. As like a power play, or is there a strategic reason for it? Because if we don't get Sarah, we can always drop Cerebro and Mystique on the very last turn, as as a surprise way. I know that if we were planning on doing Doctor Doom, Cerebro now would definitely be the play though. But I don't think I should doubt Dunkoro though. Dunkoro typically knows his stuff. So now that I messed up last turn, Dunkoro, is Cerebro still the play here? Just in case they change this location or lock it down in some way, or do we go with the double Omega to push a little bit more power? Next turn we can go with we can either go with magic. Bifrost is kind of dangerous. In what way? As long as we have a spot open in Sinister London, I guess if they send us a goblin, maybe. Ooh, Cerebro, in case they lock this down. They have a Daredevil, so they could have a Professor X. I think I see what you were thinking, or the path line you were thinking, Dunkoro. I am going to do Cerebro. If they do a Professor X, it feels pretty bad, and it will lock down a lot of our locations. At least this way we have some guaranteed. What? Oh my gosh. Where'd that Enchantress come from? So we get the discounted Miles Morales. They are the true Uatu. Thank you, Shadow, for subscribing to the channel. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad, for always keeping us. Thank you, Dad, for always keeping us in line. The Enchantress did, in fact, come from his deck list. Oh, so wise. And then Tempo Enchantress, yeah, sometimes the play. But now, if we do Mystique, that would copy this one, because this is the one we played, not the duplicate. When you play a card, you add a copy. So Mystique's not going to be the play. We could do Miles and hope that he gets sent over into the flooded location. Maybe Miles and Omega Red. That way we try to make use of what we have left. If we draw into a Doctor Doom last turn, that's fine. You think Omega Red to copy? That may have been the play. Just in case we win one of the locations by 10. It could have been the play. What in the stream sniping? It doesn't necessarily mean that he's stream sniping. It could have just been a Tempo Enchantress. Or maybe they just had a feeling. Maybe they've been running up against Cerebro 5s all day. And they kind of anticipated it. It's possible. The Hobgoblin does kind of hurt. Over into the Bifrost. Because now they can play 2 cards here. Ooh. They can play 2 cards here. They have 2 chances to push them over here. We have 1 Cerebro, 1 Doctor Doom. And so yeah, we are gonna go back into the Mr. Neutral streamer. Enchantress is a good meta card, and with Devil Dino on the board, I don't think it necessarily means that they were stream sniping. It definitely feels bad to have our Cerebro flip and then immediately countered, but nonetheless, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were watching our play. I don't think there was any like gap in between when we locked in and when they locked in, but I think overall, I think it was a good play, surprising play, but I like to see those from time to time. Great hour and a half of gains. Oh my gosh, Dad, you were right. I do need to jump back over into work mode. Dad always keeping us level-headed here. We'll play one more. This will be the one more, and we'll see if we can go into it's an hour and a half of gains and losses. The experience we got along the way and the memories are the true treasure all along, or something like that. We have our Cerebro, we have our Mystique. We can do Angela onto the board. We need to avoid Xandar unless we plan on changing it with Magic. And so I think for now, we probably play into the hub. Snug, oops, I'm late for another stream. Yeah, welcome to the stream. We have gone on just a little bit longer than our normal lunch period, so I'm gonna have to jump back over soon. So I do feel bad that you did just join us, but it will be on YouTube, so you can watch the live replay as well. But we've been up and we've been down. We've been all over the place today, Snug. We've pivoted deck lists. We've done all kinds of things today. So we need to change one of the Xandar locations. We can only play 2 cards into the Angela lane naturally. I guess we don't have to. We can play Cerebro and Mystique into the other Xandar location. The Doctor Doom would not be the ideal play line, because at least no matter which one we play in, it's gonna get the upside from one of them. So I think here we're gonna just play Omega Red. We'll extend the game with Magic. We can drop Cerebro and Mystique on 6 and then see what we need to. We need to end the stream. We need to end the stream with positive cubes. That's the goal. If that happens, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. There's always a chance that we end it negative, especially being this close. Yeah, thank goodness for the videos on demand. Yeah, so since you're just joining in late, that definitely might be something that you want to check out. And I'm glad that YouTube lets us do those like instantaneously. Don't worry, we all enjoyed the stream. yeah. Whether it's a huge cube gain stream or cube loss, I have a fun time no matter what. I like doing the extended form content. That way, I have like a more open dialogue with you guys. And so we are going to do the Sarah play. Next turn, we will Magic on the left-hand side. And then they might Magic themselves, but they also might not. They have the Captain Marvel that acts as kind of like that buffer. This looks like maybe it's, I don't know, maybe they're running some counter cards. Maybe it's like a reactive list, so they want to extend the game and then do some counter plays on 7. But I think here we're going to extend the game with Magic. We do need some additional 5 power cards though. Deathlock becomes difficult to use. I think we go with a Wolfsbane. Do we have any other 2 costs that we'd be able to use to gain? Potentially Star-Lord. So at least here we'll have 2 5-power cards, 2 5-power cards. I think that's going to have to cover us. So let's go with the Wolfsbane. We have the Sarah, or we're doing the Magic and the Wolfsbane. Maybe dump Cerebro and Mystique mid. So we'll dump one of them mid. We don't want to push Angela up too high. Joel, how's it going? Thank you for jumping in and joining us. We don't want to push Angela above 5 power though. Strong guy synergy play of the game. The strong guy. Oh, our strong guy. Gotcha. Oh, actually, yeah, no, you're right. Genesis, you're right. We could play strong guy into Xandar because it'll get that +1, right? But I don't think we can compete with just. I don't think we can compete with just that though. I think we lose this one. They have Captain Marvel that's going to be able to float around the board. Our Polaris will be able to pull one of their... Why is my name green? Yeah, you were gifted a sub. I think it was yesterday that you ended up getting the gifted. And so definitely check out some of the emojis that you now have access to. So looking at this, that's going to be 15 power, 16, 17, or 15. Then we get an additional 12. So it's going to be 27 here. If we pull over into the Real Mysterio, or if they play a card naturally, the hub becomes really hard to win. This one only bumps up by 4. So Captain Marvel could still be that force that flies around and wins them the game. I think we lock this one in. I think we see if we end up Mr. Positive Streamer or not. So they drop a magic on top of our magic. It's kind of interesting. Polaris will pull most likely one of their Mysterios in. So it has the chance of pulling in the Real Mysterio token, which actually, no, I think is okay. Even if it's the Real Mysterio token, I think we still win off of that. Right? Limbo 2 times for turn 8. We now have a turn 8 game coming up. Yeah, we win by 1 even if the Real Mysterio is in mid, right? Because it would push them to 26. Oh, but it's not. And so yeah, we win the left and the right. Captain Marvel can no longer move to mid because we pulled their Mysterio token into it to cap it out with our Polaris. So Polaris came in absolutely clutch in that scenario to allow us to end the stream. We have grinded, we have came, we saw, we have gained cubes. We lost cubes along the way, we gained them. But West D4, if you have jumped back in the stream, very good game. I know that he stops by the stream from time to time. Always, he's another content creator. So if you haven't checked out some of his stuff, and you need more Marvel Snap, then absolutely. But Dad, yeah, we are +2, and so that is all that we needed. That is a positive stream. We can now check that off the bucket list, and then we can kind of go on to brewing some additional things. I want to continue to flesh out this Cerebro 5, maybe do a deck with it, but it really depends on what the new featured location is that's going to pop up tomorrow. And so that's going to determine what deck build we come out with in tomorrow's video. But I am going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you guys for joining us for the extended lunch. As always, I had a fantastic time playing and chatting with you guys. Thank you guys for being here and just being here to watch the stream. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. We will see you in either tomorrow's video or tomorrow's stream. Later, guys.